You're now tuned in to The Twisted Truth with Corey Wesley, where everyday conversations take an unexpected turn. Entrepreneur, artist, author, and truth seeker, Corey Wesley is here to challenge the way we think, question the norms, and bring fresh perspectives to life, business, and beyond. With unfiltered discussions, special guests, and real talk, get ready for a show that's bold, insightful, and always a little twisted. Buckle up, because the truth isn't always what it seems. And now, here's your host, Corey Wesley. Welcome to another episode of The Twisted Truth with me, Corey Wesley, your host. How's everyone doing today? Today's topic is for anyone who's worked for free, hired or volunteered for free, or been burnt by somebody who said they were going to do something for you, but then they don't. It's called what I like to call the free work fallacy, or more bluntly, why doing a half-assed job for free will cost you way more than you think. And I hope anyone listening that's done me wrong, don't get offended, because I'm just telling the truth. This one's for anyone who's worked for free, hired someone who volunteered their services, or been burnt by what I call favor energy. You know, it's what I like to also refer to the illusion of noble freebies. Let's start with the twisted truth of the day. How you work when you're not being paid is exactly how I believe you'll work when you are. Let's roll that back and let's repeat that for the people in the back. How you work when you're not being paid is exactly how I believe you'll work when you are. Does that make sense? There's this romanticized idea that working for free is noble, right? It's generous. It's just helping out, right? But here's where it gets twisted. I've had people offer their services, offer, not me begging, just for them to turn around for late, show up late, deliver sloppy work, or ignore follow-ups. Like they're doing me a favor. And when I call people out, the excuse is always, well, I was doing it for free. Nah, miss me with that. Because free doesn't mean careless. This is, when someone's asking you to do something, maybe for their business, or they're starting out, or they need help, starting a business by yourself, or launching your music, or writing a book. Sometimes you need support, and sometimes you don't have the income or the revenue to ask or pay someone. Because obviously, if a friend or someone's asking you for help, there's a reason behind why they're asking. And if you are going to do a careless job, or you know that you don't have the time and the space and the headspace for it, then just say no. That reminds me, I do have a book called The Art of Saying No. Oh, I should have it in my hand, but I don't. But you can Google Corey Wesley, The Art of Saying No, because no is a complete sentence. Now, getting back to the topic at hand, the real cost of free work. Okay, let's really talk about this. Okay, you know what working for free actually is, right? Do you? Do you know what working for free actually is? I know you're asking me, well, what is it? It's an audition. It's an interview before the paycheck. It's your chance to show who you are when the lights aren't bright, the checks aren't signed. Let's repeat that. It's your chance to show who you are when the lights aren't bright, the checks aren't signed, and the recognition isn't there yet. However, it's also a representation of who you are and what you believe. If you've made a commitment to someone, right, and you're not following up, and you're not doing things that you promised that you would do, or you're just like, it's a side hustle for you, or just like, I ain't getting paid, whatever, you're actually telling whoever you promised that you don't really care about their dreams or their goals. This is why I always tell people, when you ask someone for help, always have a backup. I always create a backup. I have been burnt so many freaking times asking people to do me a favor, and they say they are, and then you rely on them and rely on them, and then you're working on, like I would work in the past, working on my business, and it's already stressful. It's already freaking like you want to cry all the time because it's not moving fast enough. No, you're getting all these no's. You got social media to post. You got emails to write. You will have to be right now. People don't really understand, and that's why not a lot of people are successful at running businesses or starting businesses, because it requires so much brain capacity that your head wants to explode. You got to do marketing. You got to think about money. And if you don't have anybody backing you and you using your work paycheck, and don't tell me to go get a loan, because who wants to be having a loan payment for a business that fails? So people take their check. Like somebody go out and spend $200-$300 on a drink. Someone might be paying $200 and $300 for an AOL, a URL, the hosting fees, they for the services to record these things and all that. People don't realize that this stuff is not free. This stuff costs money, and even though the money's not coming in, someone is putting money out on themselves. Obviously, I feel like this. If somebody's asked me something for free, right? And they doing all these things. They got websites, they got podcasts. I know that there's financial backing in there. They may not be able to pay me, but they are investing in themselves. So why not do it for free? Because I'm like, they're putting every dollar they have into their dream. Then okay, now I would be side-eyeing a friend if they're not investing in their own dreams. So if our friend wants a company and he's out partying all the time, but then he wants me to do stuff or borrow money to, pay his for his URL, that's a different story. But if he's taking every dollar, he's not going out like me, and you staying at home and you making this, and these softwares, people don't realize something's $24, something's $12. This stuff adds up. I spend about probably 300, maybe close to about $300 a month just on these services. So when someone's asking you to donate for their podcast, and I'm probably going off a little bit, or doing something, it's not that you're donating to nothing. You're donating to help them maintain and follow and pursue their dreams. So I always feel that if somebody shows me who they really are when I ask them to do something for free, when I start making the money that I'm going to be making, I'm not hiring them. I'm not paying them, because they showed me who they were when they did it for free, and it was a representation of how they feel about their own word. My grandmother used to say, "Your word is your bond," and that's all you have. And if you can't live by your word, you have nothing. And if you can't be trusted to give your best when there's nothing on the table, why would I believe you'll give your best when there's everything on the line? And literally everything is on the line for like startups and people who are like myself, just edging on the cusp of like whatever you call success, but working hard to launch their businesses and all that. The beginning, that home stretch because there's a stretch to the starting line that has to happen when you start a business. People don't realize you don't just get to the starting line and say, "You're off." No, that's not how that works. You have to, there's a stretch about a mile long before you can even get to the starting line. And if you have people around you who you can't trust, that when that's on the line, because really, yes, you might not be successful. You might not get to the starting line, but all the money that you use to get to try to get to the starting line, is not wasted. I don't want to ever say wasted, but if you have people failing you, making it worse, that's actually worse to me. That's putting everything on the line already. But let's say where the money's coming in and where it really matters, then you're going to pay attention. Nah, I don't want that type of person around me. Okay, because then everything's on the line. Real talk. I've worked with people who offered help, and when they dropped the ball, they still expected to be rewarded once things got good. So when my name's in lights and oh my God, I have a few. I ain't gonna mention no names, but they be out there and they be saying, oh, I'll do it, and then they don't do it, or oh, and then I don't say. I used to get upset with people and be yelling and screaming at people. I don't say a word no more because you know what? I learned to do what I need to do for myself. I can ask them, but I will say to myself, and this is funny, I'm having an aha moment myself. But why would you ask them, even if you have some doubt if they can fulfill that obligation? Why are you even asking them? That's a question for myself. I just slapped myself. See, this is why I do a podcast, because I also have to think about my thoughts. Sometimes you got to just think it through. But, sometimes you feel like you trust people and then they fail you. But it's odd because the reason why I'm saying I've had this aha epiphany right now, this aha moment, is because I will teach you and tell you to always have a backup. And I don't want to say that you have a backup plan, but sometimes people say they or have good intention and they are doing, and this is where I say, I don't excuse anybody who says they're going to do something, even if it's for free, and then they don't do it. Puts a bad taste in my mouth. It does. However, I do understand that everybody has their lives. Now, I am not a big advocate of someone saying I'm too busy because I do 17,000 things in one day. I film, I post, I go visit my mother at a nursing home, I clean my house. I even am now going to incorporate going to the gym. I'm going to be able to do all that and more and still sleep and still eat and still clean my house and make phone calls and chat and text and all that. And I have, I will be honest, I don't go out as often as I do, but when I go out, I reward myself. And that's the reward for me. But going back to it, those people that have offered to help, and when they drop the ball, they expect to be rewarded once they're good. Like, yo, Corey, when the brand blows up, don't forget who was there at the start. What? Huh? I've had that bitch said to me, oh my God, when you blow up, you gonna blow up. This is your time. When you blow up, don't forget where you came from. Don't forget who was there from the start. Well, who worked till 12 o'clock at night? Who did not get any sleep that night? Who asked me, hey, Corey, I know you working on your thing. Do you need me to help you? Do you need me to send out an email? What can I do? Who was there at 3 a.m. when I was sitting there trying to fix my website? Because I didn't have the money for that. So I had to learn how to do SEO, and I had to learn how to use Shopify, and I had to screw up my website several times to cry in the middle of the night and call my rider, oh my God, my site. Well, and obviously you don't have relationships with everybody that you can do that, but the people that then be saying stuff like that, I'd be looking at them like, what? Where were they? Where were they? But you weren't present. But now you want to be present when I'm big and blow up. Oh my gosh. I always say thank you for the I'm flattered that you think I'm going to be blowing up. I think that's validation that they see potential in me. I always say you can't, like in dating, you can't date someone's potential, and they may not, they might say they see your potential, but they might not fully believe in it because obviously it's your dream. So they're not going to invest as much time and space in your dream. And I would always say, don't allow yourself or set yourself up for that, to believe that someone, best friend, family member who says they're going to help is going to believe in your dream as much as you are. And so, with that being said, you're not going to be disappointed. Lazy work is still work, and that says a lot. Okay, let me ask you something. If you were building a brand, a business, a vision, would you want people around who only show up when the checks due? Let's repeat that for the people in the back. If you were building a brand, a business, a vision, would you want people around you who only show up when the checks due? Hell no. Because that tells me something about who they are at the core. If you say yes to something, I expect you to honor that. That's integrity. I believe in that. I'm big on integrity. And people always tell me that I have high integrity because I am one. I say what I say and I do what I do. I even stop what I'm doing, and nobody can ever tell you that. I stop to help people. Even though it might interrupt my day, I make time because I believe in integrity, having integrity. And when I say I'm going to do something, I will say I'm going to do it. And if there is a delay or if there's a reason why I can't, I then let them know in advance. I don't let the ball drop because I know the importance of things. People don't have to tell you, this is really important to me and I need you to do this and this. If they don't know it, then maybe you need to ask the different person. And that's why I always say, have a backup. I have learned that so much that it's sad that even the people that I know are reliable, that I can trust, some are not reliable. And because I can trust them, I I know that they're not reliable. See, there's a difference in my ride or die bestie just told me this today, and it made me realize last night we were talking about someone. They're like, and I was like, oh, I can't trust them. And they're like, no, it's not that you can't trust them. You can trust them, but you can't rely on them. And I was like, oh my God, aha moment. There's a difference between trusting someone and relying on them. I can trust the person, but the person I can't rely on, they're not reliable. So I've learned in my past to create a buffer because I can't be disappointed. It is my dream. It is my company. It's my vision. It's what I'm hoping for, what I work hard for. I can't expect someone else to do it. Although I've asked them to help and they've agreed to it, I always set up a buffer. I always protect myself. I always put in a buffer to make sure that I have every opportunity for it not to fall apart. Even if they let the ball drop, I already am already ahead of the game so that I don't lose sight or actually people don't realize that also causes a lot of stress, doubt, because when you're starting something or you need help and you don't get that support and the person drops the ball, that adds more doubt, more fear, more anxiety, more frustration on somebody that doesn't need it because they are tackling a dream of theirs that many are scared to do. And it's not fair to the person who is committed to their dream, spending every dollar they have to make their dream come true, for them to fall and falter because they're doing it for free. Then what I would say is, I don't care. Set a backup plan. I always have a backup plan. I never rely on just one person because I have learned I will be disappointed. Well, I'm not getting paid, so I don't really have to go hard. Then, baby, you're not someone I'll ever pay. For those people that I have, and this is why I don't work or ask many people for help. This is why I don't ask many people for help. Because if they're not going to go hard for me, when I've asked for help, they said yes, they say they believe in my dream, but they falter. And then they claim that, oh my God, I'm busy. I understand people have a 9 to 5. People work every day. But you know what? I also work 9 to 5 plus. So I always say too, it's about project management. It's your project management skills. If you don't have enough time in the day to do everything, and I can tell you, I do 27, 30 things in a day. I run circles around people. My friends will tell you, Corey runs circles around people because I have I have learned, well, I train time management. I understand time management. And yes, don't get me wrong, I flake off sometimes. Sometimes like today, it was raining, I don't feel like working. And I was goofing off and I was feeling guilty. But then I realized, you know what? I had a thought. I was like, well, you know what? Get on that podcast. Do that. And I had already eaten lunch. I had already made some phone calls. I had already sent out emails. I watched a little show on TV. I posted on social media. I've emailed last night at like 2 in the morning, 3 in the morning, because I forgot that I didn't edit something. So I jumped up, turned back on the lights, got back on the computer, because that is what commitment is, to follow your dream. And see, people don't realize what's happening behind closed doors when the lights go down and the doors are shut and everybody else is going and doing what they're doing. They don't know what entrepreneurs or people who are striving to follow their dream are doing in the middle of the night. They are working. I always crack up when people say they want something, and then even if they have a 9 to 5, they don't even take an hour to 2 hours to sit at a computer and make phone calls or send emails or get up early or, oh my God, I'm tired, I'm going to bed at 10 o'clock. What? I'm not going to bed until 3 and I'm getting up at 5. And yes, there are days that I say, okay, my body needs a rest, because I just watched this meme about a lion, where how a lion will go and hunt like aggressively and hard, right? And when you have that energy, you got to use it, right? And then the lion rests. And that's what I've learned. And I do that simultaneously. I don't know. I do that subconsciously. But I be going hard. I be up till 2, 4, go to sleep, get up, and then when my body says it's time to rest, I rest. Because I have put in the work. But let's flip it. Would you want someone to treat your brand like an afterthought? Think about it. If you were the person building a brand, a business, launching your singing career, writing a book, let's flip it. Would you want someone to treat your brand or your dream, your vision, your idea like an afterthought? To play with your name and reputation just because the work is free? So you're going to jeopardize someone else's reputation because the work's not free? That's selfish. It's disrespectful, to be honest. Not just to protect, not just to the project is disrespectful, but it's to that yourself, honestly, the person themselves, because it's disrespectful to themselves, that other person. It says a lot. It says a lot about a person who says they're going to do something, who works half-assed when it's free. And then all of a sudden, when you start making money, they want to be paid and they're going to be around you. No, you couldn't even work when it was free. You worked half-assed. I want to know the people who work for free. They're the first people I'm going to hire who work their butts off for free. The ones that was on point, who actually helped you get to the next level so that you could get the income and the revenue. Those are the people you want to hire. Those are the people you want to hire. You don't want to hire the lazy asses who just said, oh, it was free. And now they're banking. So now, oh, he's going to pay me now. So I'm going to work. No, no. That's the wrong idea. Wrong. Stop romanticizing it. That is not how that works. And if somebody tells you, because it was just for free, they're not the person for you. Free work is your resume. This is where folks get it twisted. That unpaid gigs, that volunteer gig, that favor for a friend, that's all about your reputation. It's your digital resume. You may not get a check, but you're building credit, baby. Okay? If your credit is trash, late responses, broken promises, and bare minimum energy, don't expect to cash in later. Let's repeat that for the people in the back, because I think some people don't get it. Your digital resume, you may not be getting a check, but you're building credit. Okay. And if your credit is trash, late responses, broken promises, bare minimum energy, then that's the key. The bare minimum energy. Don't expect to cash in later, because guess what? People pay for reliability, trust, and results, not potential. Oh my God, didn't I just say that earlier about potential? Dating people for their potential? I know that's a side note, but don't even work with people who you see with potential, but not showing their potential. You can't force people to be the success, and you can see it in their souls. But if they don't want it, you can't force them. So if your free work isn't reliable, what exactly are you selling? Okay. Let me give y'all a real example. I had someone volunteer to help me with a project. They were excited, told me they loved my vision, respected my hustle, and wanted to support the brand. I was hyped, thought I had a ride or die. First week, fire. Second week, okay. The third week, ghosted, no follow up, no heads up, just silence. Later, I hear though someone else, oh, I was just doing that as a favor. Just a favor? Okay. Now that's pissed me off. See, I didn't force you to volunteer. You offered. And if that's how you show up when you volunteer, why would I trust you when there's a contract involved? That experience told me more about their work ethic than a resume ever could. So here's the bottom line. Working for free is fine. Working like you don't care because it's free is not. Free isn't an example. Free isn't an excuse. It's a test. It's a test to test you and your skills. And you should be challenged you should be grateful if somebody, because you never know, when I believe in the divine power, you don't know why that divine energy is happening to you or why you're being asked to do that, because it could be preparing you for the greatness, but you might be, oh, it's free. So you may be blocking that greatness. Okay. And a lot of folks are failing at it. If you're serious about building your name, your career, your art, your brand, every move you make matters. And that's why I get pissed off when people drop the ball when you ask them to help you, because they don't realize that every move you make matters. Every dollar out of somebody's pocket that they work hard for because they're self-funding their business, every move they make, every dollar they spend matters. They're spending on all these platforms so that they can make it. And people forget they're not making money. Some people aren't making money. They're spending all this money to get all this stuff out, because these services, people don't realize, all these services combined are not free. Yes, you can cut corners, and I know how to cut a corner and use certain free options and until whatever. I know how to do it, but sometimes you can't. Okay. And like I said, I spend about $300 a month, and that's why we have a donate button. $3. If you believe in that person, then give them $3. It's just do something to help them, because some people are not eating to make their dreams happen. And I know it sounds crazy, but it happens because people believe in their dreams. Because trust me, if you show up lazy when it's free, you're showing me I can't trust you when it counts. So next time you offer your services or take on a project pro bono, ask yourself the following. Am I building a relationship or burning a bridge? Let me repeat that. Okay, this is for the folks again. So the next time you offer your services or take on a project pro bono, ask yourself, am I building a relationship or burning a bridge? If this hit home, well, good. That means you're growing. Thanks to me. I'm going to end this off with, have you ever worked for free and felt unappreciated? Or been on the other side, burned by someone who offered help but didn't deliver? let's talk about it, because your reputation, that's your currency. And that's the twisted truth about it. Not everybody's rich in that department. I can't help it. Make sure you like, subscribe, and share this episode with someone who needs to hear it. And remember, you don't build legacy with lip service. You build it with action, even when the invoice is zero. Remember to stay blessed, because you are already blessed. And remember to believe in yourself, love yourself, and trust yourself. Love yourself, believe in yourself, and love yourself. All those three things will get you to the place that you want to be. And remember, when you work for free, commit. And if you can't do it, say I can't, and just help them in another way. Put in $3 in the donate box, or send them some pens, or ask them if there's some stuff that they need, lighting, buy them a gift or whatever. But don't think for 1 minute people out here are spending, they're spending their hard-earned money on their dreams. And you have to admire anyone who goes after their dreams, because half of our society, half of them don't, because they're scared that they can't do it. And they get mad at the people that are out here doing it. And then when you have someone that you trust, and then you end up that you can't rely on them, that burns. Okay? That's food for thought, as my mother would say. Have a nice day, night, evening, wherever you are. Remember to like, subscribe, and share this episode with someone who might need to hear it. Until next time, catch you next time. Bye. That's a wrap for this episode of The Twisted Truth with Corey Wesley. If you've enjoyed today's conversation, don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and share the show with someone who needs a fresh perspective. Remember to stay curious, stay bold, and always remember this: the truth isn't always what it seems. Until next time, keep thinking, keep questioning, and keep twisting the truth. See you soon.